to work than just the action being done, but that the work itself provides fulfillment to oneself. The second article that I strung off of was Nixon's Labor Day address, and he urges the American people to embrace the struggle, that no job is menial if it leads to self-reliance, self-respect, and individual dignity. This further developed my stance that work, regardless of the job, provides fulfillment in life. However, Nixon also discussed how satisfaction in one's job is a key factor in promoting productivity, as well as enabling one to find fulfillment in their life. This developed my research question: what impact does work have on the human person when striving for satisfaction in life? In turn, my research developed into two distinct but not separate avenues. The first being focused on fulfillment unexpectedly achieved through monotonous, menial work. So rather than finding one's job meaningful, this research will evaluate the intrinsic values of work that motivate one to keep working, such as personal development, contribution to society, as well as social interaction. The second section will explain the impact of work when one is satisfied with their job. Even though these avenues seem to be contrasting, they are related. Both incorporate the social aspect and the workplace community, and they also promote and facilitate personal well-being, which leads to fulfillment in one's life. The first topic I would like to go into is personal growth achieved through work, even if it's menial. It develops a better sense of self for the working person. In St. John Paul II's encyclical on human work, he discusses how the work is not for the end product, but rather on a duty for the part of the man. Even though it has a religious background, this teaching is applicable to the secular world because it recognizes the inherent value of work on the person as a means for rich personal growth. This reveals that work facilitates development and improvement in oneself. A study published in the Journal of Happiness Studies also further explains this idea that personal growth is there for promoting satisfaction in life. Three other aspects also found in the workforce as positive relationship with others, autonomy, and purpose in life are all evident in this workforce and also promoting life satisfaction. Therefore, work is valuable even when unskilled and repetitive because of its ability to achieve these aspects of psychological well-being that lead to an increase in life satisfaction. The next thing that I'd like to go into is the contribution to society that work allows one to feel. Working gives people ability to be a part of something bigger than themselves. Nixon invokes a sense of pride in the laborers in this article that I was inspired by, and discusses the impact it has on America as a whole. The Delta Kappa Gamma Bulletin, which is a newsletter for educators, provides accounts of why retired people felt inclined to return to the workforce. Not necessarily back into their normal career, but into less demanding jobs that still allow them to feel fulfilled and brought fulfillment to their new life stage. In addition to contribution, social stability was also a reason for the workforce. This brings the crossover into job satisfaction, where the work environment and community impacts one's satisfaction for the job and ultimately their life overall. Nancy Kruger, who was the author of the Delta Kappa newsletter, was surprised by the pleasure that she received from the interaction from the staff on both a personal or professional level and a social level. The retired accounts also discussed the schedule and stability that the work brought them, even if it wasn't into their regular workforce. They ended up feeling more fulfilled and accomplished at the end of the day. In a slightly different way, a study evaluating job satisfaction in nurses found that nurses experienced a great community, a positive community at their workplace, ultimately appreciated the immaterial values of work. This not only increased their job satisfaction, but their productivity and high quality of work in their field. This is published in the Journal of Nursing Management, where the nurses with a low satisfaction in their job would avoid work responsibility and not have great customer service towards their patients. Thus, the nurse with a better atmosphere had an increased stake in their job, appreciated more, and it provides a better job performance. This gives them a better sense of self-respect and dignity, and increase their job satisfaction and ultimately their job or their life satisfaction overall. So the limitations towards this research was basically the subjectivity of this topic, because every person has their own perspective on their life. Even though they could be perceived as happy and satisfied with themselves and accepting, they could have a other hidden agenda, and they wouldn't actually necessarily be so-called fulfilled. But these perceptions and these indicators of boosted morale and purpose in life are a good indicator for self-fulfillment. This is also not saying that work is the only path that can provide for self-satisfaction and life satisfaction. But those who don't experience a formal work setting, such as a stay-at-home mom or someone who does not work, can also be satisfied in life. It's not necessarily saying that work is the only way to achieve life satisfaction. The spectrum is innumerable, and you can be happy with yourself no matter what you're doing. Thus, my conclusions are improving the working conditions for those so that more people are satisfied with their jobs, enjoying what they're doing, and providing a better productivity and keeping up with a positive community at work. This could also improve career counseling, where you are not focused on the material values of your work or the monetary incentive, but rather the fact that how it makes you feel and how it provides fulfillment for yourself. The negative connotation of factory labor could also be adjusted in today's society because of its inherent value of work that is apparent now. Finding purpose within the simplest tasks could provide a greater fulfillment in life. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's give us a second here. How did you handle any differing perspectives in order to reach your conclusion?
Well, I looked at the perspectives that said that the factory labor jobs didn't provide fulfillment, and they were basically saying that if they were working there, they weren't exactly happy, and so I tried to counter that with what I found in the two stimulus articles and just fulfillment as a whole.
Thank you.
What additional questions might have come during the process of research that you not necessarily addressed here, but what other questions came across as you delved into this topic?
Well, I initially was examining the scientific reasoning behind self-fulfillment and being happy, but the process of looking at that was not very successful, and so that question was not relevant to the rest of the